Grace is the creator of the maths game Race to Infinity. It's a game that makes children fall in love with maths. Grace, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's a game that helps children fall in love with mathematics, and the whole premise behind it is to help children learn without realizing that they're learning. So they think they're playing, but they're actually learning and increasing, in math skills as they play.
Wow. So in other sense, you're actually saying it's you can actually get to that stage of actually enjoying doing maths, because I remember when I was in school, that's the subject that I hated the most, and I just couldn't even get my head round doing maths. So are you saying you can actually get to love to do maths?
Absolutely, maths is fun and it's beautiful, and I love maths, and I hope I can convince you to love maths too. And certainly, every child can love maths.
Yes, I would love to love maths, so then I can impact that on my children as well.
Very key.
Yes.
Very key.
Can we talk about Grace? Tell us more about yourself and more about what you do.
Yeah, okay. Well, my name is Grace Olugbodi, as you mentioned earlier, and I specialise in helping children fall in love with mathematics. It actually started as a passion of mine. So, by trade, I'm actually a Java programmer, which is Java is a programming language, it's a software programming language. Because I studied computing, I had a first class in computing from London Guildhall University, and then my master's is in financial markets with information systems. So I'm actually a programmer in an investment banking by trade. I did that for a few years, 8 years. I worked in 5 different investment banks in the city as a programmer. And then I resigned to go set up business with my husband. We have a health and nutrition business that I run with him. But this has always been a passion of mine, helping children fall in love with mathematics. And this stems back to some experiences I had in my childhood, which I'll come onto when we talk a little bit more.
Do you know what? I was really going to let us go straight into that. Like, how was your childhood?
Right.
What really happened that made you fall in love with maths?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was in primary school, I was I wouldn't say that I struggled with maths, but I wasn't a particularly great lover of maths. I was just, just normal. And I actually used to wonder about the other kids that were in some special classes, that they were always quite good at maths, and, they'd get very high scores.
Yeah.
And mine was just, kind of okay, maybe a little bit above average, just sort of, and I used to wonder, the smart kids, like, just wondered how they did it. They're lucky them,
Yes.
And so that was primary school, and then between primary and secondary, that summer that you'd normally be at home and stuff, I was saying to my dad that, what can I do to fill my time? Like, there's no time. And he was like, oh, why don't you do some, math stuff? And I thought, maths.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate maths, but maths wasn't really the idea of what I thought was fun, to go and do.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, but, I'm quite open-minded by nature, so I just thought, oh, okay. And the way he said it, he made it kind of sound exciting. So I thought, okay, I can do that, So I did a little bit of maths at home. Now, he didn't teach me maths, I always say to people. He supported me with maths. So when I was 10 years old, what happened was my father gave me this extra support. Because there's a way you can support a child where the child knows that mommy actually cares or daddy actually cares, even if you're not a guru or other thing that you're supporting them on. And that changed my confidence. That gave me confidence that I can tell you that confidence has been responsible for everything and anything that I have achieved to date.
Wow.
And so I'm telling parents, support your child. I mean, obviously with their subjects, with all the subjects are important, but with maths in particular, because it's one of those subjects that if that's missing and a child isn't confident with maths, then it impacts on everything else. But if they're confident with maths, guess what? It also impacts positively on everything else, where the child now believes that they can do anything. And so this support that he gave me is what transformed me in secondary school. When I got into secondary school, and the first year I went on to win the maths prize out of, I think, about 300 students.
Wow.
And I was quite shocked, like, oh, wow.
So from an average scorer to
Right.
one of the best.
Right, in secondary school. And then I won the maths prize and the further maths prize a couple of other times. And then my nickname had changed because, boys used to call me all some of these funny names before. They would call me Babyface and Dollyface.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't so much mind the Babyface name, but I hated the Dollyface one. You know, the whole idea of looking like a doll. You know, like
it's pretty.
But I just didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Baby sounded, but you know, I think it's nicer to look like a baby than look like a doll.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But then when I won the maths prizes, then my name had changed overnight, and boys would be behind me and they'd be calling me Solid, like my name changed to Solid. And I'd be walking them, Solid, and they're actually calling me, and I'm thinking, oh really? Just by that little bit of maths that we did at home?
Imagine.
You know, and then people thought I was like a genius. I mean, till now they think I'm a genius. And I always say that there's no such thing as a maths brain or a maths person or a maths genius, because maths is really only a skill and it just needs deliberate practice.
Wow, before we go into that, someone might want to know what kind of support, when you say parents need to give their children support, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah, I think the first thing is the bigger problem we have, which is that too many parents are afraid of maths themselves and don't know how to help their children. Now, because of that, and because a lot of people have experiences from their past, and you know, just exactly like what you said, loads of parents have that, the children know, and inadvertently people pass that on to their children without actually knowing it. So already, to even try to show any kind of love towards what they're doing and support, subconsciously you think, oh God, I hope that my child doesn't go through what I went through. Oh God, when I see maths, I remember my teacher, and I remember my father beating me, and I remember this and that. Do you see what I mean? So the bigger problem is that mindset thing, because if that isn't there, the support is just the same as you would support them with anything else. My daughter does piano. I don't know the first thing about. I don't even know what thing to press. Do you know what I mean? But she knows that mommy cares and supports her with that piano, with her music stuff. I take her to all the right lessons. I ask questions. I stay there when she's doing it. You know, but if I'm afraid of piano, and if I'm afraid of that, you know, the keys, the press, then there's going to be that fear around me, which my child can see and it passes on. You know, so I think the support thing starts from that mindset first. It's fixing our mindset as parents and having a more positive, open-minded mindset towards maths.
Wow.
And that support thing comes intrinsically.
Wow, I really like how you put it. And one of my favorite writers says, your ignorance will be passed on to your children. So whatever that you're ignorant about, like it or not, it will be passed on to your children. So the same is our mindsets and everything else like that. Grace, it has been lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us.